Let's see.
This is going to be a new year. A little while. They're not going to put more now. I don't think they're going to come. Yeah.
Peace, Indigo. I was here on time, 7 o'clock, but a little slow because I'm building with Dark Kim, building with the God Wise Supreme. So, but whatever questions anyone has. Oh man. Also, I had some questions to email. I'm gonna answer them indirectly, but I feel like it's important, so I'll try to get to that too. Okay. All right. That's peace. Yeah. Divine King, peace. Malik, peace. Yo, I was on the Facebook and I just shared a thing I agreed with on Facebook, and I got and it started all this argument and shit. And I haven't gotten into like an online argument about shit in a long time. You know what I mean? I felt like my whole life was being wasted. You know what I mean? And people argue about stuff that they haven't done the knowledge to. And I was like, wow, I forgot. I sent out something to the 85 world. You know? And it was just the thing about, Andre 3000 and stuff. You know? He had said what he had said in the GQ piece. He had said that at 47, he doesn't have, feels what's he supposed to talk about at 47? A colonoscopy. So he kind of made it ageist, like you're old and shit. We talk about some of the greatest novelists, the majority of the greatest novelists, writers, thinkers, their best books, their best writings. Sometimes their best music is in their 40s, 50s, 60s. Shit. Who is it? What's her name? I just want to get her age though. I forget her age. Let me see how that. Yeah, look, Dolly Parton released the album like a week ago, and she's 77. You know what I mean?
I was dealing with my physical pops, and he was talking about how Busta Rhymes said he was scared about like releasing more like, newer music because like he's older now, so he doesn't really have like the newer generation. But after what you just said,
yeah, that I understand in some ways, right? Because you don't get old, but people of your era do. And then they think, oh, well, we don't do that anymore. We don't listen to that anymore and stuff like that. And his new album, he's really pandering to like a lot of styles that is really whack. It's unfortunate because he's such a great MC, All right, peace to Allah. I don't know how to say that. I know I'm saying that all wrong. Peace to the God King. Come on. All right. Indigo, you said if that's his perception, fine, but don't put caps on people's talent because of age. Exactly. And that's kind of what I was sharing and stuff. And people shared it like they think Nas is like an anomaly. Like Nas makes albums and he's older and other people don't. But there's lots of people that are way older. KRS-One has made albums recently. Public Enemy, Chuck D, who's way older. He's in his mid-50s. He made an album, and they're not whack though. Like we may not like the sound and stuff like that, but they're not whack. You know what I mean? Right? And of course, there's so many MCs in their 40s. So I just found it funny. I felt funny because I'm releasing my first albums this year, and I'm 47. So I'm like, damn. Like he said the number 2. He said like, I'm like, man, this motherfucker, man. Let me do my shit, okay? Let me do my shit, okay? I'm having fun, right? You know, I'm doing my shit. I have fun. You don't know what to say. You don't read anything, and I would be mean, no, but I heard there's a lot of music I've heard in my lifetime and stuff, and everybody knows I like the ballad, so I like a lot of music that slows down, right? It's one of the reasons I love Miles Davis though, because Miles Davis was a student of Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Parker, right? Bird and Dizzy trumpet, Bird sax, but he was so good he could read music on he could read and write music on sight, meaning that like if you were playing something, he could write down the notes you were playing. That's what that means when you on site, right? And mind you, the way they were playing bebop is fast, So through that education, though, he started to make the first innovation was what they call later. He didn't call it that. He never called anything shit. Was cool jazz, and other guys. If you like that and get addicted to it, you can find other guys that stayed in there because Miles never stays in the lane. He makes new shit. But Chet Baker, trumpet players like that, they made great careers out of that. But the cool jazz was like a slowing down of the bebop. Slowing down. That's where you get a hard bop and you get soul jazz, right? Slows down, gets particular to different things. Modal jazz, right? And that slowing down is very important, very crucial. It shows you the details. You know what I mean? You know. But when I was listening to the Andre 3000 album, I thought I'd like it because it's slow, but it's really like elevator music. And I don't mean elevator because a lot of times I've been in places where they play elevator music and it's George Benson and it's Earl Klugh. And I'm like, yo, this is the dopest elevator ever. You know what I mean? Like this elevator is like I don't even want to get off. I'll just go all the way to the top. You know what I mean? But and I've been in like dentist office and stuff and recognize what I'm hearing. But like what he played though was more like ambiance music. Where it's not about instrumentation, it's about the ambiance you make. And his flute playing is actually being overpowered by ambiance music. Like really listen to it. His flute can't cut through ambiance music. Like there's a percussion for ambiance music. Look. His left flutter. Yeah, because he's playing different flutes with different wind instruments. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you should have kept it on. I wanted to try something new. And this is how I'm expressing myself. Instead of saying like you have nothing to say, which actually goes against the musician concept though. Yeah. Because if a musician plays an instrument though, he does have something to say. It's just not in words, But anyway, I just took issue with that because here I am in the other spectrum. I wrote in every type of form you can have. So I said, yo, man, I'm going to listen to King Come On and drop a couple of bars here, no matter, and find my way in the pocket, because it certainly didn't start in the pocket. You know what I mean? It certainly didn't start in there, But, in my dictator's world, though, Mr. G1, I wouldn't allow Rihanna and A$AP Rocky to name their son RZA because they haven't made music good enough to allow that. You know what I mean? In my dictator world, I'm just saying, that's their child. They do what they want. But in my dictator world, though, they're not allowed to do it, though. You know what I mean? No, yeah. Yeah. Like I may not even do it for if it was Alicia Keys and Swizz Beatz. Because I love Alicia Keys though, but Swizz Beatz, I don't know. You know what I mean? We'd have, I don't know. But that's my dictator world though. These are things in my dictator world I may not allow, But
they're naming their child, isn't it?
Oh, they already did, yeah.
I'm gonna ask him why.
G1, you said RZA said he and his wife been keeping the Andre 3000 album on heavy rotation in his house. To do what? Yeah, you could do laundry, you could do all types of stuff. You could fall asleep with that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff you could do with the house with that. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm a lover of the jazz ballad. Um, there's and stuff like that, but I just didn't hear the musicianship. And what I don't like is I didn't like the music around him. I thought it was just I thought it was lazy. You know? And I feel like people haven't really heard things with flutes. You understand though that knowing salsa and son music, flutes are very integral. I don't know if you knew this guy because I don't if you have the Latin music, but when people play charanga, which is a type of son music, but using flutes and violins, you know what I mean? So like flutes are something that when they play it though, it's not like some soft medley like Pied Piper, like we're putting the children to sleep type things. Like people like Johnny Pacheco and other like that, they had to play flutes to cut through drums, multiple percussion, violins going off, and sometimes they'd even throw some horns in there. Can you imagine a flute having to cut through all that and be recognized through all that? That's a lot. You know what I mean? So to assume like people are hearing the album like, oh, it's so great, because they have assumptions about the flute. They think it's a soft instrument that's weak and soft, and so when he plays it in a middling beginner, a quality beginner fashion, that they're like, oh, this is amazing. You know what I mean? It's just it's not in the proper context. You know what I mean? But anyway, these are my gripes, and I'm only giving these gripes because he had to diss me to say I shouldn't be rapping. Yeah, I took it personal. I'm doing a total Michael Jordan on this one. Michael Jordan, though, he would get amped for games and say that this guy, he said something about me in the newspaper, and come to find out the guy didn't say anything. He'd just make up shit. He would just say like, this guy said some shit in the newspaper about me, and then he would rip him up. He'd be petty like that. But King, you said people shouldn't assume that fans who grew up on hip hop style beat hip hop, disappear from the planet, may still alive and still need good hip hop to listen to and not what kids listen to. Nothing wrong with rapping past a certain age unless you want some gangster shit. It's been proven that gangster music don't age well or drug dealer rap. That's what's interesting, because Andre 3000 doesn't have that kind of rap. He actually has very profound. When Andre was making classics of classics, right? First 3 Outkast albums, especially for me, Atlians. None of those verses are like young boy shit. They're very, very mature verses for that age. So it's like he could have just said he exhausted his palate, or he said everything he wanted to say, which is also possible. Anyway, I digress. I could do this all day. Jubei 208. Peace. Never seen you here before. You said my father plays native American spiritual flutes music, which flutes is integral in the music. Andre 3000 has similarities to what I was accustomed to hearing. Yes, I agree with that. I think he's very influenced by that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, there's also a lot of power in there too. You know what I mean? But and I don't think that the album is whack though. I think it's overlong though. I certainly think it's overlong though.
One of the songs he had like this like Shogun type of noise in the background. Like, it was giving me like Asia Shogun vibes.
Maybe.
So I was like, oh, this is fire.
Yeah. I
was making this movie.
Listen, I'll try to keep awake and get through the album.
It's like how you said though. It's one of those things you kind of just put on and just,
yeah, it's a background music though. Yeah.
If I wanted to like
yeah, and I wouldn't be saying any of this shit or even care about it though at all, because I don't think it's something to talk about. I think it's somebody that started something and did something as a novice though, so I think he did great. I just don't like. I find with what he said, And what I saw in that interview, I find his entire shit disingenuous because we got duped into buying the album with a great marketing campaign by marketing it as some bohemian that comes back and decides to do flutes, and he's just out of society. But I didn't hear anything about why he's out of society, revolution, and the same old yarn about, oh, I don't like being famous and shit like that, shit like this. But if you listen to Outkast albums and you listen to the things that he was saying, which were near revolutionary, the reasons that he gives as a bohemian note are have nothing. They're nothing like that. So the truth is that nothing that he's talking about in that interview, and the way that they set up this whole campaign, because people be thinking like that OK Player and all of this stuff, that they just promoted this because they're very curious about somebody coming back. Nah, bullshit. Because legends be coming back and they don't say shit. Legends come back and they don't say shit. So every time you see a legend come back, like people be thinking like, oh, well, people are interested. That's why they're doing it. Legends come back and they don't say anything. So when you see Nas come back, when you see Jay-Z make one song, one verse, and they're like, oh, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard. When you see Andre come back, that's not because people care. Media don't cover that anymore. OK Player, none of those people. They're being paid to do that. GQ don't look for a bohemian at a laundromat and say, let's talk about why you don't want to make music and you're doing flutes that are out of all markets. You know, it's all fabricated. The whole the whole thing, the whole shit is fabricated. You know what I mean? To give you that vibe. And when you listen to that vibe, that's the character you listen to it to. And this guy is just sitting on a creek, on a couple of rocks on a creek, on a floating creek, and then just making this music, right? It's so cool. He's out of society, but he's really not, though. You know? And was it revolutionary? None of that. Any of the things that he ever mentioned in his songs, the jewels he dropped? No reason, you know? But we have to be so invested into it, though. And, I just found it very disingenuous, though. And I'm smashing the whole shit because he put me into the shit. So I'm smashing the whole shit. You know what I mean? And he put every MC that's older that is saying so many things and is really like saying amazing things, and all the MCs that are showing that music, just like anything you write, God, anything you write is based on what Balthazar Gracian wrote in forget the name of the book, The Art of Worldly Wisdom. Wrote a book called The Art of Worldly Wisdom. And he said there's 3 things that you have to do in life. You have to learn as much as you can from those who have lived life, meaning read books, study the past, study the elders, right? Then you have to go live life. Then you have to actually, what? Share, create, make something that shows the life that you lived. What I learned over time, though, the way I saw it was that you have to do all 3 of those. They're interwoven, done all at the same time. You know what I mean? They're not done 1, 2, 3. They're done all different ways. You know what I mean? And I felt like somebody that had so much insight and so much understanding. It's almost like, to me, people watching this bohemian freedom guy doing things, and I'm watching somebody selling out. Because to me, that was some sellout shit. You know? To devalue what he once made so you could go buy this new shit that he made. Because he just feels that way. And now we're more intrigued by it, though. Like we watch an episode of Hoarders, or we watch something else, Did they really keep all that shit in there? Is he really doing that shit like that, right? Right? Random street corners and food stands. Yeah, he didn't want to make Jubei, I agree, raw repertoire. Agree, at OG. That's right. That's right. That's another, you know, right MC that's still making great music consistently. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, and you know what? You know what I find too is that the truth is that Andre didn't get rich from the music that's timeless. He didn't get rich from Southern Playlistic. He didn't get rich from Atlians. He didn't get rich from Aquemini. The more that he danced, the more he hey-ya'd his ass out there, the more he got on. Since we talk about Native Americans, when he dressed like a fucking Native American and had a teepee built in the stage of the American Music Awards and danced like a fool on it, because he did that, right? And did sell out shit like that. That's how we became rich. You know what I mean? Just like Jay-Z didn't become rich from Reasonable Doubt. He became rich from the pop records he made. And he became a billionaire from all the shit that he did that got nothing to do with music. Right? But anyway, these are my beefs, these are my rants. You know what I mean? I think our people, right? Black people, like, we think we're dead. You know what I'm saying? I've seen that so much though. Like, I've taught people that they're your age, God, and they didn't make it into the MBA. They didn't get the A1, the Division I scholarship, and they really talk like they're dead. Like they're dead. Like they, I didn't make it, and the light, it's over. Yeah, it's over. There's nothing I can do that's of value. Like, and I'm like, what? This is how you're thinking. That's 85 shit. And then you're 40, you're 45, you're 50, and there's nothing of value for you to say, and you tell people there's nothing of value to say on that forum. Shit. I'm not even the one that should have got mad. Chuck D should have said something. Right? They don't say shit. Was he? I don't know. I stopped following him when he started to dance like a fool in cliche Indian garb on American Music Awards and was doing hey ya. I stopped following. I don't want to see all that shit. Yeah, they love below shit. Love below shit. They dance like a coon, and then I gotta hear shit. I'm at magazines when this shit's happening, and I gotta hear people tell me, "Yo, look at the diversity. Look at the diversity." Coonery is a diversity. It's a skill, right? It's an adaptive skill. He could rap, make classic music, and he could be a damn buffoon. I'm telling you, man. Again, they talk about this, that, and the other like that. They don't like to be famous, though. They give up all of the money that got you famous, though. Right? Give it all up. Give up all the money that you got. Give it to a law school. You know what I mean? Man, ain't nobody seeing you, King. Ain't nobody seeing King. Come on. You know what I mean? And that's the whole thing. There's so much to express. You know what I mean? Man, we got a Black Star album, right? Most Def, Yasin Bey sounds incredible. If you like Talib Kweli, don't. He sounded great on a lot of the songs. That shit is stupid, man. What he said. Yeah, the Black Star album came out last year. I like Kweli, but I'm a big fan of Yasin Bey. Yeah, and that shit was dope. Who's your cousin, Indigo? Which one? Who? Yasin or Kweli? Yeah. I have it right next to me. That's why. Yeah. See, I'm Bohemian too. I'm Bohemian. Yeah. You know.
Do you know if Most Def was ever a 5%er?
No, his brother had knowledge though. I forget the name of the group. Medina Green. That was the name of the crew. Medina Green. And so his brother used to say on record. I never knew him, but on record he would say shit about the knowledge and shit. And so it was around it and shit. And so that's why he says a lot of positive things about it in his lyrics and things like that, and uses the language. You know what I mean? But he's Muslim. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he's dope, man. You know. Ah, okay, that's peace. Yeah. See the musicality. This is, you know, the musicality. It's all there. See, Yasin Bey, Indigo Phoenix, right? The musicality. It's in the blood. It's in the blood. Adina Green 12-inch right that. Yeah, that's a crate if you got that. Yeah. Lead with logic. Wow, new people I'm seeing here. I know I'm going in this rift. Or we're creators. I'm teaching knowledge itself here. We're all creators. I want people to be free to create. I don't want them to be like, I'm too old to do this, do that. You feel like you're too old. It's something that you're doing that's making you old. The people that tell me that they're old, though, it's because they're out of shape and they're embarrassed by it. Well, get your ass in shape and then make something. Get your ass in shape and then tell me if you feel old after that. You know, if you feel too old to do what you like to do. You know what I mean? If you feel too old to, like, let's say rap, though, then what is it, because you've rapped already, or is it because you need to be trying something else? Right? Have you ever written an essay? Have you ever written a book? All of these things. These are all things within our capabilities now. You know what I mean? People keep saying that things are not for them for a certain age, though, and that's what ages them. The father, though, he was always around the youth. You know what I'm saying? I never heard one elder that was around the father and was like, you know, he was so uncool. Right? No, you never hear that. Like, yeah, he was not cool, man. You know, like he's always trying to be down and shit. It was just, he was so 1950s, you know, and we're all here 60s, and he was like, you know, his slang was so dated. Like, nobody said that, right? No, nobody's ever told me. Firstborn Prince never told me that. Firstborn Al Jamel, right? Nobody ever told me that he was played out. Like he was, you know, right? We're on groovy and he's all like dig it. Like, no, he wasn't. Nobody was outdated, outdated, you know? Inverted narcissism, counter dependence, you know, that, you know, leave it to the God. They give the perfect summative word. Yeah. They fear their own weaknesses. They try to overcome by projecting an image of superiority. That happens often. That happens often. You know, yeah, you know, it's just that in my life, like as far as new music, hip hop is not the only new music that I'm finding. You know what I mean? You know, so it's like I said, man, I'm gonna bust out my harmonica and I'm gonna play, right? Talked about this in ago. We talked about this, King. I'm gonna bust out my harmonica, but I'm only gonna market my blues album to hip hop people. So they'll know that I really don't play the harmonica that well. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be great. You know what I mean? You know, J Electronica, I'm not a fan of, and that's for a lot of other reasons. Of course, he could rap though, you know. But stick with Killer Priest though. That's where you're gonna hear the better rhymes and more sincere verses. You know, urban thermodynamics. Yes, that's all the Medina Green shit. Yeah. 793. You said another way to manipulate co-audience who copped your first three joints and that he has social anxiety issues when performing, as he said in an interview. Yeah, these are all fine, okay issues for you to have for yourself. You got those issues, fine. You know, I don't want to perform my own music though. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to be heard. You know what I mean? Um, I started doing this. I never had like an issue to perform, even though I'm so comfortable speaking in front of people and doing shows and media like that. But just be honest about that. You know, like if I don't want to perform, doesn't mean that I shit on performances. You know. Then in the interview, they say they have nothing to. They're embarrassed by saying it. They never really said they had nothing to say. They just felt awkward saying it at their age. You know, it's a difference. It's a difference. you know. And I don't want people that are older. There's a lot of out here that's older, like, to not try new things. Because if you're learning with me, you got to try new things. You got to try new challenges. You know what I mean? We're all let's, you know. I liken it on to like training and working out. You know, when you're working out, you don't notice it. You'll have the same routine all the time, but you don't notice it though that you actually do your routine different. You know, like that, yeah, like I always do this certain amount of push-ups though, right? But then maybe one you take it with no breaks, and now you made it harder, you know, right? Or you do it, you try to do more, you add a couple more, you know what I'm saying? Or you add another set after the other regular sets you do to kind of go over the top, right? That's based on age. You'd have had to train your body for a certain amount of time to be able to add more things to it. You know what I'm saying? That's important. That doesn't come from that. You know, so
Yeah, that also shows a level of wisdom as well.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You take your knowledge and experience to the next level.
Right. Exactly. In this case, with your body, you know. King, you said what always worked for me is making songs that I could hear last few years that people could relate to. Most of these dudes are just limited to only rapping with gimmicks. Man, you said it, man. This is a thing that we talk about a lot, God. And I remember when I talked to King for the first time about making the album, our first album, he said, "This is what I want to do. I don't want to make like disposable music." You know what I mean? He wasn't gonna get that. You know, I almost never even write similes. I have like 5 similes and like 45 songs I've done with the guy. I have 5 similes. I don't like using similes. I feel like a baby, you know? But that's a thing writing though. You know what I'm saying? You know? When you're writing and stuff like that, over the years, they always tell you like the metaphors, the complex shit, you know? And then the MCs that I love, like, there's all, obviously KRS and all, Guru and all that, but Jizza does not use similes much. He uses metaphors, you know what I mean? Even though he has similes, like your lyrics weak, like clock radio speakers, right? He has famous, you know, similes. But most of his best rhymes are metaphors, you know what I mean? So it just always was a thing. Metaphors was a thing. No, it's not up with me and Jay. Jay Electronica says a lot of bullshit. He says a lot of bullshit. Okay, that's a Muslim son. That's a Muslim. That's a not a Muslim son. That's a Muslim god. I don't mess with those. They're not right and exact. You know, and to be truthful, the person he says taught him though, to me, I know is a snake. So I don't even put much value into the things that he says because he's learned well. Like he's learned what a snake could teach him. So if he's being sincere, it's just that's just the way it goes, you know. Sincere person, bad teacher. You get sincerely bad student. You know what I mean? But who he said taught him though? Wakil. That's what he said. Allah team, those dudes. Those dudes do devilishment with this knowledge. They teach lies. They wrote books with half-truths. I know this for a fact. So I don't, not gonna play nobody that was taught. You know what I'm saying? Then I gotta play your music though. Where are you? Are you in space? You're waiting for the mothership. You're a Muslim god. You're this. You're that. You're praying. Your head is to the floor, but you're flying in space. Like that's not for me. That's not for me. And now all of the metaphoring, the you know, extravagant language though is all exotic garbage to me. You know what I mean? It's all exotic garbage though. You know? So yeah. And you know, yeah. And he didn't, you know, if you say he went from for the gods to the NOI, he didn't go NOI because that's not even NOI. Then Wakil and Allah team, they're like in this drifting world in between all that shit, where they try to be both at the same time. You know?
Can't serve two
Yeah. And when people say, like, I could say this, I was there telling Wakil, this isn't good scholarship. I would say, what are these books for? In the name of Allah, Volume 1, I said, what are these books for? Because Allah B once asked me to write about this class I'm teaching as a appendix to your reprint of Volume 1. These are facts. This is history. And I did. He didn't write it. He didn't place my essay into the book. He took out pieces of my essay and rewrote them into the book. And I said, this is before I said, listen, okay, this book needs a glossary. It's got a lot of things that's understood. He said, well, I didn't write this for the 85. I wrote this for the 5%. And I said, what? The only reason we write books is for the people. We ain't writing you're not writing a book about this history when you haven't even been around people that I was around. You're writing history to tell me what happened? Think of, right? Me? Right? So, right? So you could make the narrative that we as a nation bear witness to when you're not even in this? No. Then volume 2, I said, this isn't good scholarship. And I know because I have the book. I gave him a chance. I thought he would reform and write a better book. He made all these assumptions, insinuating that firstborn prince was a Muslim and all that kind of shit, and was a Muslim god because of this and that. And he used one letter that firstborn prince wrote to one person as his only reference. Never met him, never spoke to anybody that was with him, to learn with him, right? And I said, this is bullshit scholarship, man. This is bullshit scholarship. You're narrating, and you're giving a narrative for us to follow and for people to follow. This is devilishment. You know what I mean? And I thought that was the worst it would be, though. But of course, though, the white man always takes stops, though. He says, hey, I'm a bigger devil. And then Michael Muhammad Knight came in, and, he wrote more devilish shit. He said, I'm the Hall of Fame devil. And he eclipsed that, But they were on some bullshit. So I'm not hearing, Jay Electronic, what could he say? You know what I mean? What could he say? They date the grafted white woman that's Masonic or whatever. What was she? Mason or whatever like that. But it's all good. It's all good. Secret society. It's all good. He's spook who sat by the punani, right? That's what he is, right? He's the spook who sat by the power you, right? Right? Everybody make excuses when people see it. They think they're a star. I want to be around a superstar, right? The spook who sat by the punani. You know what I mean? Get out of here. You know what I mean? But that's why. Now, as far as his abilities to rhyme, his technical abilities, he has all of those things. It's great. Now, as far as his imagery and his content, that's why. And also, too, as far as his content, I think he's a lower level Killer Priest. And my man Killer Priest is killing it. He's making incredible albums right now. So there's no need to, I don't even write about it. The Rock Nation of Islam. Absolutely powerful. That's right. Yeah. I didn't. If you have it, read it through it. See to understand it. See to understand it. You know what I mean? See to understand it. I wouldn't tell you to throw away the book, though. Nah, see it, though. If you feel a discrepancy, that's what we can talk about it. You know what I mean? They're already out there. It's not like the Rothschild. That's what you got, Rothschild. You know what I mean? Now, would that be fair? How about Sunez if I go out with a Rothschild? You let me go out with a Rothschild? See, White Supreme, he'd be like, man, fuck. You know what I mean? Y'all would denounce me, though. I can't, you know what I mean? I can't go out with a Rothschild. Yeah, Rock Kills proof that no matter how much someone can memorize, recite a lesson, it ain't you, the NOI 89 would have taken issue with him. That's right. It's poor scholarship. And the shit that he did with Abu Shahid, more poor scholarship. They tried to make excuses, say he tried to do like Farad. Yeah. And then Wesley Muhammad is doing lectures here. Years ago, he was doing lectures here, trying to prove that fart exists. Come on.
What's Muhammad?
Yeah, that's what we want to hear. That's what we're here for. Recognize Ali is not a 5%er. No, he's not. He's a good brother. He's a good brother. And makes dope music. You know what I mean? But he's not. He's just influenced by what we do with. You know what I mean? But from what I know, he's not gone into the study. You know, but he's a very very dope MC, and he does hip hop honorably. You know, so very dope MC. You know. Yeah, but I'm wailing against her. They keep mentioning names here. And I'm like,
The first Wesley Muhammad video I seen says, "Who's flying UFOs? Black gods in space."
man, come on. This is what we're gonna, right? This is what we're gonna listen to. This is what we're talking about here, right? Like, come on, man. I don't know, man. Yeah, Recognize is dope. He's dope. You know that he makes the bench press music. So if you're giving me excuses about working out and shit, you better get yourself some Recognize Ali records. Then talk to me. That's the workout music. You know what I mean? That's the muscle stuff. Muscle stuff. You know? Yeah, that's you know. But you know, honestly, I don't even listen to hip hop like that. Like I don't listen to hip hop to motivate me and shit. You know? Like I don't even work out with music. I listen to music all day, except when I weight train. So I'll lift weights and everything like that and do calisthenics and all that, and I don't listen to music. I listen to podcasts. I like to listen to information, you know? And then when I train, I don't really listen to hip hop anymore. I used to a lot though. Like to get hype, but I don't anymore. Like if I have to get hyped though, it'll be because like sometimes now, like when I train in the brutal cold, but you know. But for me, hip hop as a personal thing is mainly a listening music. But that's because I listen to so much hip hop to write about. It's more of a like a work. It's more work, you know. It's more work. You know?
Usually when I exercise, I'm like, I'm quoting my lessons. Like, I'm going through 120.
Yeah. That's just the way it became. You know what I mean? Because it focuses my thoughts and stuff. You know. Yeah. But as far as listening music, there's so much music. There's so much great hip hop today of different kinds of levels, stuff to work out with, energize yourself, stuff to listen to. You know what I mean? King, come on, the epitome of soul music. Indigo, we got Indigo in here. Like that's for all branches. You could work out with Indigo music. That's listening music. That's also soulful music. Like you can pretty much, you know, got all flavors. You know. Mhm. I think with Kamal, me and Kamal make a lot of music that's for all those levels though. But probably if you're actually listening to what I'm saying though, I'll probably make you sit down, you know, because I'm throwing so many lyrics in there, you know. But what was the other thing I was gonna say? An even more serious subject though is that I got this question from a guy, and I just want to answer this to be more useful. This question has an answer that will never end, and it'll never be correct. Okay. But I was asked though, and I answer it though because I could give people some of the insight because it's something I'm going through right now. And a brother asked me, new student, that he's in a dark place because his mother just passed away, right? And remembered in perfection. Uh, may she be revered in positivity. The old earth, right? And I lost my mother years ago. That was 2017. That never goes away though. That doesn't go away, especially like if your mother was really great with you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna answer those questions a little bit, Malik. But let me answer this question. And obviously, I lost my father in October, right? And he was asking me, "Well, what do you do to get out that dark place?" So this is a question that I can't answer that effectively because I don't see myself in a dark place. I don't stay in that realm like that. You know what I mean? Um, I keep working, but I don't really work to get away from stuff. I work to tackle it. And I gotta say that we're creators. And I think one of the best ways to deal with tragedy like that, is something horrible like that, to understand that in this case, so that was life, it had to happen. Whether it was a tragedy, it was too soon. With your parents, though, it's always too soon, right? Your parents are old, but they never followed anything I told them as far as health. So it was too soon for me. You know what I mean? They really did. They really did. You know, definitely my father. You know what I mean? Like, man, in the last year, my father, like, one of the last times we actually walking out and everything, went to a pizza shop, and I was like, yeah. And he told me, like, you do great for your health. It's great. I had my chance and I didn't take it. Now, mind you, I know that if I would have said it's never too late, or we could, really, really, which it never is, God. You can. There's people that are at the ends of certain things. They can do so much for themselves and get out of the terminal, whatever, right? Anyway, but I didn't say anything. I already know what he was about. But when my father passed away, the thing that helped me the most, and I talked about this in the live that I did for the album, was that King Kamal reminded me to be a creator. I had to move, I had to create. I still create. Every time for people that do martial arts, especially Kung Fu, is a creative art. It's creative. It's an array of moves that goes with your flow. And so you create the mentality, you create the move. And that was creative for me, but there was other things. I can't do Kung Fu like 24/7. I'd be like done. You know what I mean? The way I needed to do it, I would be doing a lot. And I was doing more too. Just moving all the time. And I had to think, I had to let certain ideas out. And I think that for us, sometimes to try to create things, to try to offer something to the world, to try to learn something that challenges you in the realm of creating is something that helps you deal with loss. And when Kamal sent me those 2 beats to have solo songs on the album that we just released, one of them I named Remember the Perfection. And that song's where I really was able to purge and put my feelings into a creative mentality. What it's really about. I lost my father, but it's really about what he was doing for us. He was protecting us, though, and now I have to protect my children. And so it became, that's what the song was about. And have my daughter like do a little thing in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And it was fun to interact with her and engaging the next generation, my children, with something new that they never did before. You know what I mean? Just like it's all new to me. It's brand new to me. And it was very liberating, like I could thank Kamal, I could thank King Kamal, but you can't thank your brother enough for something like that. You know what I mean? And what I would say is, like, when you lose a loved one, to continue to express yourselves, to freely express yourselves and to engage in that. You know what I'm saying? Now, I listen to a lot of music, though. And there's definitely a lot of songs that were home to my father. That was his music, doo-wop and all that kind of stuff. Man, I play all of that shit. I always loved it, especially the ballads. You already know. Not so much fast doo-wop. Sometimes it's so corny, like at the hop and all that kind of shit. A lot of doo-wop is corny to me when they get too fast, And I don't mean like Why Do Fools Fall in Love. I mean other doo-wop songs. If you know, you know. I'm not gonna get into it, right? The ultra fast and drinking at the malt shop. You know what I mean? Like shit like that, right? But yeah, I embrace that. I embrace the feeling. And that's the thing I'm saying. It's not about you. Everybody go. Sunez said, go make a song. It's that to make a song, you have to actually open up your heart. You have to open up your thoughts, your sentiments. So you have to find a way to open up your sentiments and be okay with them. Be okay with them and don't drown in them. Because the true and living God is responsible for everything. Everything. We was talking, before I got on, I was talking to God, right? And we was talking about the 37th degree and how majestic the 37th degree is, right? Let's see. Try it again, God. They're not going to see you, but they can hear you. Try quote that degree, majestic to life. When you say the answer, tell me who you are, like the degree is answering it.
Tell us why the devil teaches the 85% that God is a righteous and unseen being that cannot, well, point us up. Tell us why the devil teaches the 85% that God is a righteous and unseen being that exists everywhere. Allah is God in the earth and the heavens above. No. Allah is God in the earth and the heavens. Is just and true and has no righteousness.
For there is no unrighteousness in him.
There is no unrighteousness, and there is no unrighteousness in him. But he is not unseen. He is seen and heard everywhere, for he is the
all I seeing. So you gotta practice that.
I do have to practice it.
It's powerful. You see that? Powerful. And we have to do things to remind us so that this encompasses all things, the good, the bad, and the terrible, the wonderful. You know? And there'll be wonderful things that are leave you speechless, just like there'll be horrible things that leave you that way too. But if we're still here, then we still have to fight. And that's the thing to remind yourself. You write a mantra. You know what I'm saying? Mantra that I always wrote down that really inspired me. This was when my old earth passed away, and I still have it as my thing here, right? It was just a thing that was written by in the Sherlock Holmes books. You know what I mean? And I'm forgetting the way it goes exactly. I don't want to ruin it, right? And it simply said, it said, work is the antidote of sorrow. That's all he said. Sherlock Holmes' character said that. And I was like, wow. And you know what I said? I'm going to go see if that's true. I'm going to go see if that's true. And if it's not true, shit, by the end of it, I'm going to have a lot of nice work. I'm going to see if it's true. But if it's not, I'll still have these bundles of beautiful work. And you know what? I have books, albums with the God, all these wonderful things that I'm proud of. That I'm gonna tell you, when your child looks at you and they're proud of you, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, wow, that's so cool. You know what I'm saying? That is an antidote for sorrow. Because I just showed them what they could be, like the possibilities. You know? They look and they say, listen, that's not impossible. Like, yo, man, Pop does that. You know, he's made that. You know, if I want to, I can make one too. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's impossible. Nothing's out of the realm. You know what I mean? Right? So to the brother like that, you write your journal, whatever, because your journal will be creative, though. It'll be your own thoughts. People don't understand that writing down your own thoughts, though, is a creative endeavor. To put the words, to find the words to express something that actually encompasses how you actually feel is a creative process, you know? That's where you start. And if I give advice or I insight to it, that's where I stay steeped in. That's how I keep my life. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to share that before like the whole class goes awry and I don't get to build on that. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to share that, you know? But Malik, you said What is the uncle language that he doesn't speak? Good question. What do you think about that? You went to 136. What is the language that the uncle doesn't speak? He says he does not speak my own language, right? Doesn't speak his own language. What's his language?
I always drew that up as mathematics. I'm saying, like, he doesn't have the proper tools to see who he is and see who's around him.
Yeah. It's the culture degree, right?
Yeah.
The language that expresses his true culture. So whatever his culture is, he can't express it. That's really what it is. It's not necessarily a language, like we're not looking for a particular African language or nothing like that. It's he can't express what the true culture is. So, however, so they're not animals where they don't speak anything. It's that whatever language they speak, they cannot express, they've lost it. Right? Whether they've adapted the languages of the assimilated the languages that they were forced to or not. They can no longer express what their true language is. You know, that's what that means. Aren't there, he asks, aren't there many traders that Elijah isn't mentioning? I would think so. Yes, absolutely. I think that was a distinct thing, you know, and of course, historically, there's traders all over, you know, but the 1 to 36 is definitely a focus on, you know, the major, you know, West African slave trade. You know what I'm saying? That led to the you know, because this particular slave trade, you know what I mean, is really what leads to what we have here. You know what I'm saying? Because whites been dealing with slavery for a minute though. They've been slaving their own, all of that. They love doing that shit. You know. Lead with logic. No, I'm not talking Q-Tip. I'm talking King Kamal that is in here as King Rashad here. King Kamal. King, let me write my brother's name, right? I have made 3 albums with my brother, King Kamal, who's a veteran MC and one of the best out there. Kamal. King Kamal, the MC name. One of the best. And really, really, in the annals of Chicago MCs, I don't think the history is worthy without him in it. That's how good his music is. Malik, you said, what is a practice? One more question in that batch there. Like the one in Latin America, isn't the same trader as North America or the Caribbean? I think that, no, there could be many slave traders though, but that, you know, that triangular slave trade is encompassing all of that, because the slave traders in Latin America and stuff like that, they were checkpoints. So it's all the same in that respect. But as far as other slave traders, there have been slave traders throughout history. Europeans used to trade themselves. Do we have Arab slave traders? All of that. But understand that the way that the slavery worked, which I don't think was ever humane like that, you know, it still had a lot of inhumanity in it, was not based on ripping people from families just because, you know, it was a form of indentured servitude and things like that. It wasn't based on, you know, we need to just take them and have them build our society, which is very important, because white people could not build the society that they have today. They don't have the strength, manpower, or the abilities to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah, so it wouldn't even be here. So understand that they enslaved our people to do something that they could not do. So in their mindset, technically, a lot of it is necessary. You ever notice that nobody says we could have, no white man says this thought. They never say whether they are a good man or a piece of shit. They never say we should have made, you know, they never says, right? You ever heard this? We should have made America without enslaving anybody. You ever heard that?
No.
Doesn't matter how well-being, and they certainly don't want slavery to happen again, and they hate that it happened, but they never say that. Because when they go through history, they know that they couldn't sit in the sun throughout the whole Bible Belt and actually build anything. With that sun beating down on them, they wouldn't be able to do it. They weren't physically capable, and the deeper that we look at the inventions made throughout American society, they wouldn't have invented the things that needed to go. And let's not forget, though, that these are all agrarian societies, every single last one of them, right? They're based on crops. You can't live in a certain place unless you can have regular food in that area,
Like,
right? But when they start slavery, though, they're not like, yeah, we're gonna ship all the food from the other side of the world. That's not feasible. That's not feasible. The only food you're shipping is the food that's in for the trip, for the long trip. There's no imports of like specific like daily items like we have now. Like everything we get shipped from somewhere. New York makes nothing. They had to make an agrarian society. How could they do that when they don't understand the land of any of the lands that they went to? They barely understand theirs. Throughout history, Europe has barely understood their society, their lands that they're from, to make proper agriculture. That's only now that they even do that.
A lot of times, good technology.
Yeah. So when they came here, they didn't just need to overthrow the Native Americans. They needed to actually learn from them. Musa, 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 Musa. The Musa. We can't just kill them all. Musa. We need to use them. Right? The Musa. Right? Yeah. They got it. They can't just ransack. They got to make relationships because they don't know how to till the soil, the land. You know?
How do you grow a potato?
Yeah, they have to learn this though. They have to learn this. They don't know the land. There's a book. Oh my goodness, I'm forgetting her name though. Wait, I might have it in. Now that I put everything in categories, I'll tell you her name. Rigoberta Mencho. Mencho or Mencha, I forget. Indigenous woman that wrote a wonderful autobiography. This is a modern day. This is not like hundreds of years ago, right? And she talks about how even in this time, we're talking about like 20th century, 1950s onward, right? That white people still don't know how to treat the lands that they're from. And she didn't mean like just polluted and shit like that. She meant like grow out of it. You know what I mean? Like they still don't understand how to actually till the soil and grow crops the proper way. You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
So does drought come from improperly? Like,
no, not always. But understand, like indigenous cultures, especially in the Americas, they knew how to cultivate different seeds. You know what I mean? They knew how to make different seeds, like, you know, in this term, it's not devilish, grafting seeds and mixing them. That was done so that they could have it in different environments, whether it was flood season, dry season, high altitudes. You know what I'm saying? They were able to make agrarian society everywhere. I forget the name of the author, but he wrote books about the Mongolians and Genghis Khan, but also wrote a good book called The Indian Givers. You know, like they always say that term, the Indian Givers. He used that as a real thing. Like the Indians actually gave us everything. You know, that's what he was saying.
Turn to like agriculture and stuff.
Right. And like everything. Like he was saying, like the lands, the way that we keep the lands, all of that. That it was learned from them. You know, it's a great book. Indian Givers. You know? Let me get the author now. Indian Givers book. That's Indian Givers. Yeah. By Jack Weatherford. Great author. I like Jack Weatherford's books. Most of his books are about the Mongolian empires and stuff, which are great books too.
Because I know that like crops like potatoes, for example, like they're only found on this side of the planet,
Right.
But they can be grown in any type of atmosphere.
Right. But not every crop is like that.
Yeah.
Not every crop is like that. You know what I mean?
So now it's like when you in Russia, you in the mountains, you really need something you can grow. You got potatoes.
Right. Okay, so I hope that answers that question. What is a practical view of looking at captain and lieutenant? Man, there's an order to things. You know what I'm saying? You got, you know, like captain and then the lieutenant. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times the captain and lieutenant was much like the way the father taught. The father was the captain. You know what I mean? And he was teaching all the firstborns to be lieutenants, and they was teaching and training private soldiers. You know, a lot of them, the father didn't teach daily. You know, he was teaching them to teach them. You know what I mean? Because they're young, they go out on the street, they're with people, right? So that Captain Lieutenant is just there's an order to doing things and knowing who the best knower is, who's most capable here, and how we'll do things, you know? And that's one way of looking at it. You said the 1 to 14 says that Caucasians is the devil, so why mention real devil? Because it's not a sufficient, complete definition. That's why. That's why it's mentioned what is a real devil in the 33rd degree, because to make devil is not just to weaken. The making of the devil is to pollute and weaken the gene and splice it, separate it, right? Dilute the gene, which causes destruction. It's absolute destruction. And that mayhem causes a weakened individual who's prone to devilishment because their epigenetic reality is a breeding that they have been bred by devilishment. And so it is being bred. It is being epigenetically placed in there, right? Which, by the way, also means that it can what? Be epigenetically dealt with as well. Meaning that you can't teach anyone this knowledge. However, a real devil, though, is also to make point that anyone can be made weak. Anyone can be put in a weakened state to do devilishment. You know what I'm saying?
That's where it comes in.
Yeah.
Right? Like you don't have it. So
what happens when people get hungry? Right? What happens when people starving? What happens when people see riches that other people have and they're just like,
dissatisfaction.
Right, the dissatisfaction. Right? So that's what that means, like clarity. You know what I mean?
I draw the journal as like the initial stage of something.
Right.
And every action comes from like an idea, a thought. You know what I'm saying? So I draw the journal as like the mind. We can weaken someone's mind, basically.
That's right. If
you see yourself as lower, then you do anything by any means necessary. You already at the bottom.
That's right. All right, I think I answered all the questions. For some reason, I thought there was more here. You all stop talking to me. But I hope the stream is still going. Oh, I see the numbers. Oh, the stream may have stopped actually, because I see what's going on. The number is not moving. Oh, it's clumping. So it'll be like 17, then 22. Okay, so it is moving, but not. It's like moving in 5-second blocks. I didn't know it did that. Never noticed that. But anyway, yeah. Okay, so I feel like I answered everything. If anybody has any questions about anything, let me know. I'm gonna put my email here just in case. Right? I've been here since 7 o'clock, so I'm going to leave soon. But I want to wait till at least we get an hour logged in here. So I will stay online here for at least about 10 more minutes, give or take. Okay, still here. Good. Yeah, And I want to say something like there's got to be a way that we do the knowledge to certain things and we don't deal with, and we don't succumb to a very rote way, a robotic way, and even almost a religious way of teaching this knowledge. You know what I mean? So, that's something to keep in mind, But I won't say anything else because the people that are doing that, I think if they disagree with me, I'm right here. All right. Oh, Lou, peace, Almighty. Peace, Almighty. I'm going to be here for another 5 or 10 minutes, depending on what people ask me here and stuff like that. I got the God here, why Supreme, no, but I'll cut you guys off, though, but I'm going to keep building with him, though. Because, we leave on the same train and everything, so we build. But definitely, you know what I'm saying? I think I answered everything I was thinking about. You know what I mean? Also, people ask me about Tribe of Jabbar and stuff like that. That is something that was taught to me by Firstborn Prince when I said that we were Tribe of Shabazz, and he said, no, we were never lost. So the mentality is that we see ourselves and that focus. That was something that was taught to us. You know what I'm saying? But again, these are labels, and what's more important than the name is the mentality by which we're saying that, you know? And because I see so much religious way of teaching. It's very robotic though, you know? And
So when you say we was never lost, like, well, in terms of like travel to bar, like what do you mean by that?
all right, look. If someone's lost, then they have to be found by somebody else. You see?
Mm.
That's the point. Because technically, the Father was introduced to the knowledge, the information that had the knowledge, but they were all interpreting it that there's still a mystery God.
Yeah.
So technically, all he was introduced to the information that had the truth in among the tribe of Shabazz. But ain't none of them said that there was a true living God.
Mm.
None of them said that they was Allah themselves.
Mm.
So when the Father did that though, then technically he's the only one that's doing that. He found himself. You all are saying that the black man is God, but nobody's saying that we are that right now. And that leap, that one distinction of elevation is the most crucial point of the whole thing. You know what I mean? And to make that distinction, that was something he was saying. And I was building with Darkim about it, and that's something he was saying that was in the Nation of Islam, the tribe of Jabbar, that concept. And the Father embraced that, and that was something that Firstborn Prince taught me. So it's really the concept. It's really the concept, because you know how much more work we have to do as archaeologists and stuff and scientists to be on the ground, boots on the ground, like not just studying good literature and piecing together the remnants of what people have found and analyzing what people have found, but find them ourselves. We're way off from being there yet. That's when we would get answers about what the tribes are really called, where we were from, all these details. But for now, I'm telling you, that's what I was taught that the Father was teaching and was handed down. So it's for people to get the insight to it, the relevance of the insight, as opposed to say, well, where was this tribe? And what did they build? And what, you know what I mean? That was never the point. That was never the insight to be drawn from that. Not at the stage that we're at now. You know what I'm saying? Because no matter how much we learn about certain sciences, though, we're still not able to be in the field to what? To actually construct the primary research. I think we're slowly getting there, right? We have an era before of black scholars actually looking at the data and information firsthand. That's a step, right? Analyzing the data head on, primary research, right? But we still have to make those next steps as well. We still never haven't had anybody look at the primary research, very few, and offer new insights to the primary research by finding primary research that no one's ever looked at and analyze it in the way that we understand things. As in, there's no mystery God, right? Not yet,
I see that.
right? We're getting there though. We can get there, and the thing is knowing the idea that we have to get there, that this is a place to go. There's a place to go.
What you're saying is similar to like Chancellor Williams' book, the
Destruction of Black Civilization. Right.
Yeah.
They had to fight to look at this primary research, but I'm talking about who gets to engage in making the primary research.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he actually went to Africa.
That's right.
He actually was
the second half of the book gives those details of his trials and tribulations he went through. Seminal book. But that's what I mean by that. But as we're teaching this, though, we have to understand, right? And who I'm really giving this advice to is people that are in my position of teaching this. you have to give this in such a way that you understand, though, that the majority of people that you teach, though, are are not going to say that they are God on earth. That's a select few, you know.
Mm.
That's a select few. If they are saying that, though, it's because you're pushing them to be that, and you will have, though, is basically followers, or you'll have your own Muslims, but you never know it. You know what I mean? You never know it. You know. The thing is to know who it is that you're teaching, and what, and learn what those particular students want in their life. You know, they want righteousness. You teach them righteousness, right? They want how to live, how you to live, things like that. Right? You give it to them. But those that will be the true and living God, that's something that they have to decide for themselves, right? She has to decide for herself if she's going to be the earth, right? Yeah, you know. So that's what I mean. And if from, and that's really what I throw out for the peers, because I keep seeing peers that say crazy shit, but when we have a chance to build, and we should be brothers that teach, though, and are teaching out there like myself. We also should be together in speaking on how we do this. You know what I mean? How do we do this? What's the way that we do this? You know? Right? This is important. Anyway, just leave everybody with those thoughts and ideas. You know what I mean? Keep it positive. You know what I mean? And hopefully it was worthwhile what I was sharing here. But it is 9 o'clock. I'm gonna let everybody go. I will be here next week as well. Okay, and I got a key. I got the new key, so I won't be locked out. Nobody comes, I won't be locked out, which has happened many times, many times throughout the years. So it's actually happened many times. But all right. So until next time, I bid everyone peace. Right? Allah is the God on the earth and heaven above, and it's just the truth, for there's no unrighteousness in him, but he's not unseen, he's seen and heard everywhere, for he is the all I seeing. Woo! All right. Peace.